Are you tired of sitting on the sidelines watching opportunities pass you by? You know you have what it takes, but something's missing. It could be doubt, confidence, or fear that you're not representing your best self. Whatever it is, it stops now. It's time to align your passion with your purpose and seize the opportunities that await you. I want to see you get back in the game. So join me and my expert guests as we talk all things image, branding, and a bit of entrepreneurship. So if you're ready to gain insightful tips, tools, and strategies to help you amplify your presence and define your impact for greater success, sit with us as we talk about it.
Welcome back to the Image Connection Show, where we go beyond the surface of branding, image, and a bit of entrepreneurship to help you live and lead with impact. I'm your host, Jenny Dewberry. I'm an internationally certified image consultant, brand strategist, speaker, and trainer. And today I have with me an executive style consultant, Earl Rich. Earl is going to sit with us and talk about the importance of executive style. He's going to talk about who he works with in that area, and he's also going to talk to us about the importance of messaging and communication through what we wear. And so help me in welcoming Earl Rich to the show.
Hello, Jenny. How are you?
I'm well. How are you, Earl?
Great. Thank you for having me on.
Very good. I wanted to get you on here as I talk about, who you serve, a little bit about your past. You serve clients from executive C-suite to entrepreneurs, correct?
Exactly, yes.
And then I see that you also appeared on CityLine in Canada. It's a former lifestyle show as a menswear segment specialist. So I know that was pretty interesting. How long were you doing that?
Well, that started just before COVID. So it went on for about 2 seasons.
Okay.
And it was very interesting during that period. Everybody was at home and trying to navigate, the online presence and how that differentiated themselves or different from the being in work.
Yeah.
So it was a period of time that people were discovering themselves and how to present themselves and needed some help and guidance. So it was a great show and also at the same time a good distraction as well.
That's right. Yeah.
For all the ills that were going on at that time.
COVID did lead all of us to trying to identify many aspects of life, and then how we would move when it was, once we got back into the real world. And again, it introduced us introduced us to this virtual world.
Right.
And we didn't know how to navigate that. And so we, as style experts, as coaches and consultants, had to teach our clients or people that wanted to know how to show up visually, and in a positive, impactful way online and in person, of course, always. And so, so thanks for the work that you do in that. And, the work that we do is very, very important. And your story, let's start with that too.
Yes.
I know you said that, you started the show during COVID, but is that where you began your consulting?
Yeah, well, so my story is this. So as a young person going to church, I used to see people dress up and in suits, shirts, and ties. And that typically wasn't their attire normally for the remainder of the week. They were quite blue-collar workers where I lived at the time. And so but it was transformative, though. And so I saw the power of dress.
Yes.
You can really influence people's behavior, people's thoughts about you, and also challenge them as well.
Yeah.
And so that really got me into clothing. And then I also ventured into luxury menswear. And at a very high-end store here in the city. And I saw as well an opportunity because men were a little confused when it came down to clothing or casual periods of their week. And some men will come in about it, very similar saying things, but still bewildered. Can I wear this? Should I wear that? What can I truly wear?
Yeah.
And also workplaces as well were having a hard time directing their employees. They were clear on what they couldn't wear. but not very clear on what they should wear or ought to wear.
Yes. Yes.
And so that led to a lot of confusion. So I saw an opportunity here to help guide, because I looked around myself. I really didn't see anybody else doing as I was doing as a man. There were ladies doing image consulting.
Hmm.
And I mean, with no, with all due respect, I mean, women are fantastic at it. But, as a woman, I don't quite understand. Sorry, as a man, I don't understand a woman's body
Right.
much as a woman would understand how it feels,
Hmm.
times of the year, month, season, and age as well. But as a man, I can understand, how our bodies feel and how they develop as we age as well.
Sure.
And so sometimes, what you're wearing may be fine for today, or in this season, but then it can change.
Yeah.
So I just offered, I guess, a perspective from a man's point of view, enabling them to actually have somebody they can talk to, somebody they can refer to,
Hmm.
and who has experienced essentially what they're experiencing as well. And
Yeah.
so that was the genesis of it, really. Just seeing
Hmm.
a gap in the market,
Sure.
to begin to utilize or explore.
Hmm.
And then I decided to explore a little further, so I tried television. Television was fantastic,
Yeah.
I gave a wider audience. We went across Canada and also into about 10, I think, US states as well. And again, during the COVID era, it was good because people were uncertain that, do I wear suits when I'm
Hmm.
on Zoom or in what was the other one? Microsoft Teams.
Yes.
Do I do that, or I'm at home? So should I just wear sweats and a casual t-shirt because everybody knows I'm at home?
Right.
And so there was some confusion there. So people needed a little sort of like guidance and to expand upon what's right, of
Right.
course. And again, it was a whole new period, right? A whole new forum.
Yeah.
Most of the time, we weren't online, and so people were just using sweats at that time.
Hmm.
But then, when you found your whole business life online, you're still representing yourself. You're
That's
still
right.
representing your company, and you're still
Yeah.
representing your brand.
Hmm.
So, in spite of things being a little more relaxed and your environment being home, it shouldn't have detracted or taken away from you presenting yourself professionally.
That's right. Absolutely. And that still applies today because COVID did a thing on us, it had its very bad, part element to it. It had good elements like what we're doing here today, but people are still confused as to how they should show up online, for one, how they should go into the office, because we do, well, the organizations, they do tell them what they should wear, but they don't tell them what they shouldn't wear. So the waters get really murky. They
Mm.
really don't know, you know, what's business casual, what's traditional, formal. If I'm working in the bank, what should I wear? And for me, as a female image consultant and working with females, and this is usually entry level professionals, we know that we can't wear, or should know that we can't wear leggings into the workplace. But again, COVID made it so acceptable, and we got so comfortable with just putting on clothes and going to work just as we are.
Mm.
And I'm all about taking your whole self into the workplace, but let's do it with a little um, polished, do it in a polished manner,
Polish,
right?
yeah, and be aware. Be aware of your environment and who you're serving as well,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. So, wanted to talk to you too about the difference in hiring, or working with, I should say, an executive style consultant versus just going into a retail store, pulling garments off of the rack, or working with a personal shopper. I know that there are they're just totally different experiences and levels of, you get different levels of success there. So can you
Mm.
talk about that a bit?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question there, and it's a great differentiator because
Hmm.
not enough people kind of understand, number one, that this service that I offer exists, and also the difference between a personal shopper and somebody who works as a commissioned salesperson in a
Hmm.
store. And so let's start with, I guess, what I do. So one of the things that believe differentiates me is the ability to have a consultation with somebody and to talk in depth about who they are, what they're trying to achieve, and what their outcomes they want. I know that in contrast, having worked in luxury menswear, that a lot of times it's just a matter of, okay, if somebody walks into the store and they're looking for a suit. Okay, what suit would you like, sir? I'd like a blue suit. Okay, what size are you? Are you this size? Okay, perfect. Okay, would you like a pair of shoes with that too? Perhaps not, or yes. And that's essentially it.
Mm-hmm.
Until I'll see you again, I may get your name and number and give you a call to ask how did it fit. If I'm a
Yes.
very good salesperson and I want to build my relationship with you, I'll take the extra step and follow up with you. If not, then it's just a transaction and
Right.
off you go.
Yeah.
Now, that may not actually meet the needs of that particular person
Mm-hmm.
because we haven't discovered who you are, what position you're holding, what your brand is. We haven't discovered what message you want to convey to your audience, if in fact there is a message to convey to your
Mm-hmm.
audience. We haven't established where you are in your career and what you're hoping to project as well.
Right.
Still, we haven't understood anything along the lines of that.
Mm-hmm.
And by drilling down just a little bit further, you can actually get somebody in the right garments, looking the right way, and conveying the messages that they want to convey. A
Yes.
lot of men are very shy. They may not even begin to answer those questions because they're uncertain as to what those answers are.
Mm-hmm.
And so, with a consultation, it allows me to just dig and ask questions and reveal to them, oh, yeah, I didn't understand that, or I didn't realize that, or I
Mm-hmm.
didn't think of that. These things are important to me. And so that's the differentiation. And also, in addition to that, there's an opportunity between an executive style consultant and a experienced salesperson, that variety.
Mm-hmm.
That salesperson in a store can only sell essentially what that store carries
Right.
within their four walls. Yes, they may be able to order in from another store, but still, it's only the brands that that store
Mm-hmm.
carries. Now, you may find that you need a pair of shoes over here and a pair of socks over there and a coat over here. Well, then what does that then do to you as a client? That means you have to go out there and foster and develop different relationships with
Yeah.
different people in different stores. And that
Yes.
can become quite confusing
Mm-hmm.
because each person in each store doesn't quite understand your message, what you're trying to convey, and also as well,
Right.
what's in your wardrobe, what have you purchased previously,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it helps men to understand, yes, this is the one person that understands me, that's clear on the direction and my decisions
Mm-hmm.
and what I'm trying to do. So
Yeah.
that to me is a huge thing because it's the weight off people's shoulders. You're thinking for them essentially.
Right. Yeah.
Uh, and again, one of the analogies I will use comparisons is costume designers. Costume designers are brought in to films because they want to bring that character to life.
Mm-hmm.
And they want people to understand that character and really get invested in that character, right? So the writer's written the character, the actor brings that character to life,
Mm-hmm.
but the costume designer makes you believable
That's
by
right.
what you wear.
Yeah.
Like that guy really wouldn't wear this in the scene, but the costume designers created it, so you would believe yes, he would,
Mm-hmm. Right.
right?
Yes.
So I do the same thing for men in an executive capacity.
Mm-hmm.
That they want to fit in, they want to look a certain way, they want to communicate a certain message. So
Right.
those are the levels that I go to.
Mm-hmm. And as you should, and that is a huge difference again between what a consultant does versus what a personal stylist does. And not knocking either. People, we meet people where they are. So if people want just a personal stylist, that's fine. But if you want someone that's going to actually cater and develop a plan for you specifically, then you do want to sit with someone across from someone that's going to get to know you, get to know your lifestyle, get to know your personality. So we call it style personality. Get to know those things about you, your body type, where you're going, what you're dressing for, and all of that. So that's important. Those are the things that maybe certainly someone working in retail, they don't know that information immediately. In most times at all, because when you were talking, it made me think back to when I worked in retail, and it was a high-end retail store, but it took months and sometimes years for me to really build those relationships with my client. We have our book of clients and such, but did I really know that person? Did I really know the outcome that they were seeking when they came into a store? Yeah, we have a brief conversation with them, but we are really not dressing the person for where they want to go, the lifestyle that they have. Perhaps we're versus really dressing them for one occasion, or we'll see something and say, oh, well, James might like this. Let me pull this and call him and let him know that we have this in the store, but not thinking, does
Hmm.
this really fit James' personality? Does this really fit James' lifestyle? And when you talk about where I mentioned rather pulling items from from the rack and just putting them on, and then investment shopping versus trendy shoppings. So I wanted you to talk a little bit about some elements for from a man. Well, this is for anyone, but for some elements of a well-fitted suit. Can you
Hmm.
talk about that a bit so that the gentleman can know what that looks like and how to be able to spot that when they're out
Yeah,
shopping?
yeah, and you know that's very crucial that you bring that
Hmm.
up for men's awareness, because again, a lot of men, they're not versed in this area. It's not their expertise, it's not their wheelhouse.
Sure.
That's just not something that they particularly pay too much attention to. A suit as far as they're concerned, and the color is the right color, and off I go. But one thing men need to understand is that designers create certain cuts of suits for certain body types as well. And not every suit that you like is going to be the right fit for you, the right shape for your body.
Yes.
So you need to understand, yes, you may like a canali suit, but what's the shape, the model of that suit? Maybe for somebody who's a little thicker than you, maybe somebody who's fuller in the chest, or it could be a suit that's good for somebody who's really slim.
Yeah.
And if you're a larger man trying to fit into a slim cut suit, then it's not a good fit.
Exactly.
So it's to understand the different models that a designer may carry as well.
Hmm.
So men need guidance in that.
Yeah.
Also, as well, you know, there are certain points of a jacket that need to fit well, you know, across the shoulders. I call this 4 points for me personally when I go shopping. And there'll be across the shoulders, the waist, across the back,
Hmm.
and across the seat at the back as well. And one thing we should consider is the amount of tailoring that may need or alterations that may be required purchasing a suit. Now, because it's not a bespoke suit, a suit made for you of your own body measurements and all its idiosyncrasies that may exist, then you basically squeezing your body into a shape that already exists.
Hmm.
So what you're looking for then is, or I should say the compromise really is, what shape best fits my body with the least amount of alterations.
Yes. To stay true to the integrity of the suit.
Exactly. You can't just because it fits you across the shoulders and too big in the waist, then maybe take the jacket off and try something else.
Hmm.
Because the alterations could be too extensive and take away from the integrity of the garment and the look and the feel that the designer had in mind. You know, and it's not doing you any favors either, and it looks misshapen. So bear that in mind. And again, dealing with a good salesperson, they'll be able to guide you through that whole process if they know their garments well and their shapes as well, and how garments are supposed to fit.
Right.
So that's one of the main things I would say when a man goes shopping. Ask questions regarding the models of the suit and
Hmm.
are they appropriate for your type of body.
Right. Yeah. And what you say, there is, especially with the people that you work with, the power suit. You don't really hear people really talking about that anymore. Well, you do, but not as much as we used to before, again, pre-COVID.
Mhm.
Everyone knew that you had to wear a suit, and when you wore a suit, suits carry a bit of authority. When you see someone in a suit, then you're automatically know that they are a professional. They're going somewhere. They're about a certain business.
Yeah.
When you think about a power suit, are we thinking structured lines? Are we thinking, you just talked about fit? What is your definition of a power suit?
Yeah, but you know what? Again, you know, it's interesting because the power suit can be very different depending on the profession industry that
Hmm.
you're in, right?
Yes.
You can be out of not so much out of style, but inappropriately dressed if
Hmm.
you're in a warmer climate. In a colder climate's power suit,
Right.
you can translate.
Yes.
Your industry, if you're in the creative industry versus finance and law,
Hmm.
power suits are very different,
I'm
right?
glad you said that. Yeah.
So there is a distinction from industry to industry.
Hmm.
So yes, where a power suit in finance is not going to be the same power suit as say if you're in art,
Right.
you know, or say in engineering or in tech.
Hmm.
Very different.
Very.
So it's how do you feel powerful? You know, what makes you feel powerful? That's an interpretation of a power suit in my eyes.
Yeah.
Yes, there are certain things that people would expect you to wear, that again connotes what a power suit is.
Right.
So, say finance, it would have been we all have that golden gecko, pinstripe,
Mm-hmm.
two-tone shirt, white collar, and solid body colored shirt,
Sure.
and a great tie and a tie bar, and a great pair of leather-soled
Mm-hmm.
shoes. Perfect, amazing.
Yeah.
You're gonna walk into a room, command attention. People, you're gonna turn, heads,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it's very commanding as well. But then again, if you're in the art world, or more in marketing,
Mm-hmm.
then that may not necessarily translate there.
Right.
So what's power? What's power then? It could be just a well-fitted and structured suit in the
Mm-hmm.
right type of fabric that drapes and flows very well and tastefully put together. That could be a power suit for that person in that setting.
Absolutely, and I'm glad that you pointed out the differences in that because there is power, a casual power, in your power dress and casual power, as you just mentioned, and it definitely depends on the industry that you're in. There's a such thing as overdressing for your, environment. Sometimes you don't want to, as you said. I mean, how odd would it be to go into a McDonald's and someone has on a suit? The
Mhm.
manager has on a suit. It just wouldn't fit, so it really would have an adverse effect
Mhm.
on that. And you talked about the first impression, which are
Right.
powerful. You only get a couple of seconds to make a good impression, and whether you're have on a suit, whether you just have on a well polished pair of pants and a
Mm.
button up, it's really about presence because we can put on the most expensive suit, the most expensive garments, but if we don't carry that presence in totality, it really doesn't serve us any purpose, right?
Definitely.
Yeah, when we talk about the first impression, can you talk about, the confidence that comes with that and how it influences our communication and how others perceive us?
Yeah. Well, as the saying goes, you only get 7 seconds to make a first impression.
Hmm.
Yes, you may get another opportunity down the road to make another impression,
Yeah.
but unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on the case,
Hmm.
that first impression remains.
It does.
Right.
It
Always
does.
people always got to remember, yes, when I first met you, you looked like, or I thought of you as, but then I changed my mind. But they're always going to have in their mind, when I first met
When
you,
I first met you.
dot, dot, dot.
Yes.
So it is important to look right,
Hmm.
you
It
know,
is.
as you create that first impression upon meeting somebody. And so that can take some time in terms of doing a little bit of research,
Hmm.
as to the environment you're going into, who's going to be there,
Hmm.
what's normally the expected look in that
Right.
environment.
Yeah.
Sometimes, I mean, even if you err on the side of, say, overly dressed, I'm fine with that because that really creates, again, another solid impression upon somebody's mind.
That's right. You will be remembered.
You will definitely be remembered, and in
Yeah.
also in a positive light,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
However, if you came inappropriately dressed or underdressed, then you definitely will be remembered,
Hmm.
but not in a not so positive light,
That's right. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So either way, you will be remembered,
Hmm.
but you can determine how you will be remembered.
Right.
So
Yeah.
always err on the side of overdress if you're uncertain, because also as well, you can take things off, right?
Hmm.
You can't add on what you don't have
You can't. You,
wearing,
you know,
right?
you walk into a room underdressed and, you immediately
Exactly.
shrink.
Yeah,
But
you can
you
take a
walk
tie
in,
off if you choose. You can take a jacket off if you
yeah.
choose. And that's fine.
Hmm.
But if you're not wearing the tie or the jacket, then where are you gonna get it from?
No way. I mean, you're just stuck. You're just done. You
You're
just done
stuck.
yourself in. You're stuck.
Yeah. You're stuck.
Yeah. So, again, it is better, and I'm with you with that, to overdress rather than
Mhm.
underdress because, again, you're going to be remembered, but in a more positive light versus, you create that narrative of
Mm,
what the conversation is going to look like when you're not around. So,
exactly.
yeah, branding 101. And I always say, leave them wanting more. You know,
Yes.
did
And
you?
also, what are people saying about you when you're no longer in the room,
That's right.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Are they talking about you being shabbily dressed or are they talking about you being overly dressed, but with this impeccable,
Right.
presence, with this
Mm,
impeccable attire? So it's very important, again, as you mentioned, to know where you're going Do your research about where you're going, and then what is it that you wish to accomplish when you're there? Who do you want to see? Who do you want to connect with? And what is the impression that
Mm,
you want to leave upon them? It's very important to do that research. So
mm.
let's ask, not let's ask, but if someone wanted to get in touch with you, Earl, and work with you, get a consultation with you, how would they be able to do that? I do see that it's here on the screen, and that.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, well, the best way and the easiest way really is on LinkedIn. I deal with professionals, and
Yes,
for the most part, that is where they are. That's where they
that's
play
true.
professionally, and so it's easy to connect with me on LinkedIn. So at Earl Rich on LinkedIn, send me a DM, and then we can go from there. A direct message for those who don't understand what DM is.
And I know, because we all know, we all. But again, Earl is an executive style consultant. He works with predominantly, I'm sorry, male career individuals and entrepreneurs. Am I correct in that?
That's correct. Yes. So people essentially executive positions and above. Sometimes people just moving into those positions too, who need guidance,
Mm-hmm.
and also entrepreneurs as well. People who have spent so much time, like founders, spent so much time developing their business, but now when it turns around to get money, to be leading teams now in a more professional capacity, also as well creating the culture
Mm-hmm.
of that company as well, what the expectation of how they want to be presented, and those below them need to be presented. That's a whole other story as well, because from the top down, if the leader dresses a certain way, then it's expected that everybody else will dress a certain way too.
Yes, indeed.
So that's a whole other story, Jenny, for another time, right?
Yeah, yeah, but it is a whole nother story. We'll have to do another segment around that because we can
Mm.
talk probably for hours about
Oh
that.
yeah, it's been a pleasure talking to you. It's been amazing.
Yeah, it has. I'm going to take a quick break and then we'll be back.
You're not just building a career, you're building a reputation and that of your business. At People Power Consultancy, we coach ambitious professionals to refine their image and shape a personal brand that opens doors. Because the way you show up is your message. If you're tired of blending in, second-guessing your presence, or feeling unseen, this is your moment to stand out with purpose and polish. Visit peoplepowerconsultancy.com to start your transformation. Your next level has a look. Let's define it.
All right. So we are back. I've been talking again with Earl Rich. He is an executive style consultant and he works with men and entrepreneurs. And when we went to break, Earl, before we were talking about the first impression and, how our clothes communicate for us, presence. And I wanted to talk a bit about investment shopping or investment purchasing. You are a luxury stylist, correct? Or consultant. You're a luxury style consultant. And I wanted to talk about the importance of investing in your garments for longevity and sustainability, how we can, what it may be necessary to spend a bit more in the beginning when we're shopping, spend a bit more in the beginning, but that garment lasts for years. You could go into your closet years down the line and still pick out that garment and it be relevant to today and what's going on today versus trendy shopping for trends. And I wanted to talk a little bit about cost per wear. Now, I
Mhm.
have a little cheat sheet here, so I'm going to reference this, but I'm reading where they're talking about a cool wool suit,
Mhm.
talking about linen blend, and they're talking about polyester and viscose. So I know the difference between all of that, but cost per wear, say for instance, if you made that investment and you spent $600 on a suit, I mean, that's not, that's $600 on a suit. And this is a cool wool suit. And you can get about, they say about 10, I mean, you can wear that suit for about 10 months out of the year, depending on the climate. And so it's really considered year-round fabric, right? And then if we're going to go with a linen suit, you would get to wear that suit about Three number of years. It can be worn about 3 years. You can be able to wear that about 3 years, but you can also wear it about 4 months out of the year.
Mhm.
Whereas you do, if you're going to go polyester visco, you still get those 10 months out of the year that you can wear those, but there's a huge difference. If you're going to wear that investment suit, that suit that you've invested in, you can wear that for 10 months and it still looks wonderful. Whereas if you invest or spend a bit of money on a polyester suit, you wear it 10 times, you're going to see a huge difference in how that garment wears. So, when it comes to investment shopping, can you talk about that a little bit? The importance of just spending a little bit more to get the most for
No,
your
sounds
money.
good. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, those are great analogies and great stories, actually,
Hmm.
that a lot of people don't, again, fully appreciate or understand, or would even take into consideration when shopping. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, today, getting around polyester visco is a challenge.
Hmm.
So you do tend to find, even on higher end items, more luxury items, you are
Yeah.
beginning to slowly see the presence of 2, 3, 4, 5% of a petroleum product
That's
like
true.
polyester or something
Yeah.
in there. So nobody at any price level is actually escaping that. However, that being said, yes, you spend more, and a lot more goes into the craftsmanship of that garment.
Hmm.
So whether you're spending 12, 15, $100 and above, the design of that garment, is a bit more labor intensive as well, the way it's made and constructed.
Yeah.
Men's fashion, fortunately for men, moves a lot slower than ladies. So you can get to wear an item in style,
Hmm.
for the most part, for a good number of years, maybe 4 to 5 years.
Hmm.
The only difference is going to be you and your body. If
Yes.
you stay the same weight and
Hmm.
shape, then you're fine. But if you gain, then or lose, then you're not, right?
Hmm.
So the cost per wear can go up and increase exponentially, if you're able to stay the same type of body size as you were when you first purchased a suit.
Sure. Yeah.
So that's amazing. But yes, higher end, more luxury items, considered more luxury, more expensive. The construction is so much better.
Hmm.
The feel of it is just amazing. Some of these suits, they feel like you're wearing shirts.
Okay.
They're that lightly constructed. So you're moving down now into, say, a blend.
Hmm.
Um, yes, oh, you said linen. So
Or you
with
can talk about a blend, whatever you want to.
So
Yeah.
again, linen's a great fabric. It's only, again, it's a seasonal fabric. It doesn't take you
Hmm.
throughout the year. It's only good for warmer climates and warmer times of the year. And yes, you can wear that suit again for a number of years.
Hmm.
It's great. It does what it does. So please don't complain that it wrinkles, because it's meant to wrinkle.
Yes.
Linen, that's a property of the fabric. But it's very cool. It's very light. And so
Hmm.
you'll feel very comfortable in that, in the right setting as well. Then moving along now down to your blends, viscose, and polys. Yes, it's a suit, but
Hmm.
is it going to perform well? Is it going to drape well? Is it
Right.
is it going to look like an amazing suit? Probably on the first wear or two, and then be prepared after that.
Yes.
You may see the integrity of the garment begin to fall away. There's
Hmm.
pilling, more creases and wrinkles, and also as well the comfortability of wearing the garment that's blended means that you heat up. It doesn't allow the heat of your body to escape, so
Hmm.
therefore you can't be comfortable, because it's almost like just wearing a plastic bag, and so you're going to sweat,
Hmm. Yeah.
and it retains the sweat as well, and so that breaks down the fabric, as we know,
Yeah.
and makes you smelly as well. Sorry to say, but it can make you smelly because it holds the fabric. The fabric holds odors,
Sure.
right? So those are some of the characteristics of those particular garments that you mentioned.
Yeah.
But cost per wear, yes, I would definitely start on the higher end if you can.
Hmm.
And also as well, you'll find a lot of times luxury higher end designers, they don't particularly cater to the fashion. It's more to do with the style, which is quite a difference there.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so I always say, and I've been even during my training, to buy the best garment that your money can afford. That way, again, or you have an idea. Hopefully, you're investing in like again pieces that are going to complement you, pieces
Mm.
that are going to lay on you in all the right places correctly, where they're going to flow. You're going to be able to move naturally in these pieces and not feel confined unless you're of course you've bought something that's too small or haven't had it tailored or what have you. But it's important to make that investment again, because by the time you have spent that $1,200, so to speak, or $600 on a suit, you're only spending the cost per wear for wearing a $1,200 suit. It's total numbers of wears would be 400 wears,
Mm.
and you're only spending $300 per wear.
Mm.
Whereas a suit that costs $175, you're only going to get 96 wears out of that suit versus 400 wears for something that you invested in. So again, investing in something, quality garments, always quality over quantity. And again, those suits are versatile, right?
Yes.
They're versatile, so you can wear them as a suit. You may can wear a blazer with, and you tell me, you
Mm.
may can wear
Yes,
a
no,
blazer
you're
with,
right. A
yeah.
suit can be very versatile. You can break it up depending on the type of suit that
Mm-hmm.
you're purchasing. You can break that suit up and wear the jacket, with a pair of jeans or
Yeah.
cords or something, or chinos. The pants you can wear by themselves with a sweater, a cardigan, or
Yeah.
a leather jacket. So
Mm-hmm.
you do have options of breaking it up. So therefore, even then, that again, the exponent of your cost per wear have increased as well, not just as a
Yes.
suit as a unit,
Mm-hmm.
but then as its individual parts as well.
Right. Yeah. And when we're talking about, the suits and investment shopping and presents and how they're laying, let's talk about the message that we send when we get dressed. So if our wardrobes again are aligned with our lifestyle, the message that we want to send, and the connection to our business brand, when we say for instance we are going to dinner, we're going to a business dinner versus going to a lunch dinner, meeting a prospect, meeting a decision maker or someone for business for lunch or dinner, what would be the difference in how we show up in that?
Yeah. Well, you always want to be putting your best foot forward, number one,
Hmm.
first and foremost. And then again, as I mentioned before, do a bit of research. So if you're not going down to a downtown steakhouse, you're meeting somebody there. So what does that connote? That tells you, okay, it's a nice environment. They've probably got a great, extensive, beautiful wine list as well.
Hmm.
And you're going to essentially find power players that dine there too. So therefore, you're not going to walk in there with a corduroy suit, even though it's a nice looking suit. You're going to look something a little bit more polished,
Yes.
right? Your
Hmm.
shoes are going to be on point as well.
Shoes.
Yes, shirt and tie, possibly, maybe not.
Hmm. Okay.
But your whole presence, though, is attached to how you dress, right,
That's
for that
true.
environment. So do the research in advance.
Yeah.
Find out who you're meeting and how they dress, and then you decide then
Hmm.
what it is I want to convey.
Right.
Right? What's the message I want to convey then?
Hmm.
Um, there was a story a number of years ago when Silicon Valley were looking for investors. So investors were looking to invest into new types of startups,
Okay.
right? And so they have FOMO, fear of missing out, right? And so what would happen is if you showed up looking like the previous last big thing, then chances are you're going to get the money.
Hmm.
They missed out on the guy that showed up with a hoodie pair of jeans, right?
Absolutely.
So if you showed up to an investment meeting in a suit, they're
Hmm.
like, well, you don't look like the guy that got that big investment last time whose stock has increased
Yeah.
exponentially. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? So we're looking for that guy. Even though we don't know what you're doing, you've got to look like him.
Yes.
So again, I say that to say that if you're going to that business meeting and that business meeting is about startups, then would it profit you turning up in a suit? Maybe not,
Hmm.
even though the setting is appropriate for a suit,
Right.
right?
Startup says it all. So yeah.
Yeah, but
Hmm.
the reason why you're meeting that person, you know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. Working with an executive style consultant, we help you understand and decode those types of things,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
So imagine having
absolutely.
somebody that you can call and have a discussion with. You wouldn't do that with a sales associate in a store,
No,
right?
absolutely. Or a
Because
personal stylist,
yeah,
you know?
exactly. They're
Yeah.
not that invested, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you're saying, you know what, I'm going to this meeting, I'm meeting this person, I'm not too sure.
Yeah. I
Okay.
meant personal shopper, but
Right.
yes. Mm-hmm.
And then you begin to have that kind of a conversation.
Yeah.
So again, do your research. Why are you there? Who are you meeting? And the
Right.
setting of the environment will
Mm-hmm.
determine or influence what you're going to wear.
Right. Yeah. And those things are so important. And again, that's why it's important, especially if you're trying to elevate, if you're trying to go somewhere, if you're trying to get to the next level.
Mm,
You can't just do that haphazardly. You can't be mediocre. You
mm.
have got to do everything with intentionality out here in this business world because, or there are so many other people that are vying for the same opportunities and jobs and clients that we are. So we
Mhm.
have to make sure that we are setting ourselves apart.
But Jenny, you have to be, again, like you said, intentional, right?
Yes,
You have to
intentionality.
set an intention
Hmm.
and be a certain way,
Yeah.
because there are certain things that it's all predicated on small things, right? We know when something's
Yes.
missing, but sometimes we don't know when it's there. We can't
Hmm.
identify that it's there.
Right.
If it's missing, we know something's missing.
Yeah. And it's just like you said, the small things, the small details. As I look at your blazer and I look at your collared t-shirt, but
Mhm.
collared shirt, but I see this pin on your lapel.
Mm,
That sets I mean, if you took that off, it's just the blazer with the shirt underneath it. But the lapel
mm,
makes a difference. It gives it some personality. It elevates the look, even though it's a casual look. Those
mhm.
small details make a huge difference in how we're getting
Yeah,
dressed, showing up.
and
So
how
yeah,
we're perceived as well, right? How it's the
that's
small
absolutely.
details that make a
Yeah.
difference in creating perceptions,
Hmm.
right?
Indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if a man we're listening, and sometimes that's why I have you here. We do have some male listeners. If
Mhm.
they were listening, what would you tell them about? Well, what advice would you give them? What essential piece should they have in their closet?
Mm, yeah. Well, I um, like to create the right kind of foundations for a
Hmm.
wardrobe, and then you go from there. So for me, the right types of foundations would be a great pair of shoes,
Hmm.
loafers and a lace-up shoe as well,
Yeah.
and get a great pair of dress pants as well. Depending on your climate and where you live, you could be flannels for the winter, and it could be just a regular clear cut woven wool for the spring, summer seasons.
Yeah.
A beautiful, well fitting jacket. Typically, in menswear, we go with a blazer.
Hmm.
Um, or these days, it's more like a sports jacket, really, I guess, because a blazer and a sports jacket would be the difference of the buttons, right?
Right.
Gold buttons for a blazer and coordinating buttons for, or should I say, complementary buttons for a sports jacket.
Hmm.
So those would be the foundational pieces because with that jacket, then you can wear so many different things: t-shirts, shirts, sweaters. Right. Again, with the pants, it's the same thing. You can wear sweaters with it. You can wear a jacket with it too, and then shoes as well.
Okay.
Shoes always create a great sense of presence because we do tend to look from people sometimes from the top down, and unfortunately, people get to their ankles and realize, oh, it's a second thought. It's an
Mhm.
afterthought. You know,
Yes.
So I would say continue the thought right
Great.
through to the bottom from head to toe
Right.
and
Yeah.
finish off with a great pair of shoes.
So important.
Mhm.
Hmm. Yeah, that's very important. And then again, color. I like some men are afraid to wear color, or when they do try, they go too far. you know, they don't really know what colors work
Balance, yeah.
best.
Yeah,
Yeah,
has to
what
be a
color
balance,
best.
yeah, colors and stripes. Uh, the thing also as well, Jenny, is one thing we have to do, I guess, as professional men who are intentional with the way they're dressing and the
Hmm.
direction and their messaging is sometimes is putting aside your personal preference.
Right.
Sometimes your own personal preference may not necessarily be the right messaging for that environment or
Hmm.
that setting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So you have to put that aside. And I subscribe to wear what you need to wear to get the job done. What's most
Mhm.
effective? accessory.
That's
Yes,
good.
you may like to wear certain items because you're happy in them and they look
Hmm.
great, right? But will they translate? Will they communicate in that setting? Will they
Right.
be a distraction in that setting?
Yeah.
If they are, then why would you wear them, right? Because
Right.
what you're trying to do is reduce the amount of friction between you and that person that you're meeting in that
Hmm.
setting that you're in, right? You're
Indeed.
trying to make yourself more approachable, more believable, all those things. So create less friction.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. So color is it we love it, but it could be a distraction
It could
depending on
be,
the
yes. So know how to wear it again. That's why it's important to consult with someone that can guide you and just really at the end of the day help you to become, that person that sometimes we only see in our minds.
Mm,
And so that we are showing up as our, very, very best self.
yeah.
And
I made
not
the,
that you have to
yeah,
spend.
I made the best decisions, right? You
Hmm.
know,
Yeah.
celebrities have had stylists for many, many, many years, right? They don't think about how they dress. The stylist comes to them. Here are your options.
Yes.
One, two, three, or four.
That's it.
All of them are good.
Hmm.
We just need to decide what we're going to do, right?
Right.
It's the same thing in business. You know, I provide the options. This is what we're going to do. You don't have to think about it.
And that's the idea. When they work with us, men or women, for me,
Mhm.
um, they shouldn't have to think about it. They should be able to open their closets, going there because we've taught them what to wear. We didn't just go shopping for them and put them in the closet, but we have a system for them. They go in, select what works for that day, that occasion, whatever it is that they're trying to accomplish, and it should be effortless. That's
Yeah.
another benefit of hiring someone or
Mm.
working with someone that has done this for many people and that are an expert at this and has research so that they can work with people, other well excuse me work with clients
Mhm.
specifically and
Yeah.
choose items that are going to complement that person or work for that person specifically, lifestyle, body type,
It's
um,
about having a comprehensive wardrobe, right? That has
mhm,
direction and style.
yeah,
Imagine you open up the closet door. All too often, too many people open up their closets and get confused.
they're just
You
standing
know,
in front of it.
so therefore, what happens? They just reach the same things over and over and over again,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
It's not understanding how to put the combinations together, how things truly work for them. There's lots of well-intended and well-meaning items of clothing in there, but not necessarily ones that probably fit what they're trying to do,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's about having direction and style, and imagine that every choice that you make works,
Hmm. Yeah.
right? So that's
That's it.
especially
That's
if
the
you're
bottom
busy,
line.
especially when you're busy, you don't really have to think. You don't want to think.
Yeah. Because
As
we
I said
lose a lot of
before,
time. We
mm,
lose a lot of time thinking
right?
about what we're going to wear.
But it's the biggest decision we make in the morning, though. That's
It
the thing,
is.
though. We lose a lot
Yeah,
of time, yes, but
it
it's the
is.
biggest decision because making that decision in the morning can have an impact on how your day is going to be, right? It can
Absolutely.
have an impact on your own mental health as well. How
Hmm.
people are going to receive you, how people are going to interact with you, how comfortable are you going to be in those clothes? And if
Yeah.
you're very conscious about, oh, I don't really like this, but it's all I've got, then that takes away from your day. You can't focus too heavily on the task at hand because
Yes.
you're always concerned, what are they thinking?
Right.
The
And
fit
how
when they
the
sit down,
clothes are
is it right
fitting.
up?
And yeah.
Can I rely on the pants? They're too tight today, but
Hmm.
I hope they don't rip.
Yeah.
So you're constantly distracted and have
Absolutely.
anxiety build up. So how do you perform?
Yeah. Well, if you have all those thoughts in your mind, then you're not performing to your best level.
Right.
Right. So, yeah. What do you think is a common mistake that men make with their wardrobe
Mm.
choices? I mean, I know it can't be just one answer because there's many.
Yeah. There's many. Just
Yeah.
one of the things is just buying more of the same.
Hmm.
And a bad choice can just stem into more of a bad choice,
Yeah.
right? Just because you like that shirt and it fits decently, it doesn't mean that it's the right shirt for you, right?
Right.
So it's
Yeah.
really understanding your body and fabric, right?
Sure.
I remember having a client once who traveled a lot, but wanted bamboo and linen suits.
Oh.
Well, there was a bit of caution around that because
Hmm.
it turns out, I remember him coming back from a trip and not pleased when he got off the plane because he looked all wrinkled. I said, well, unfortunately, I understand what you're saying, but the suit isn't meant to be traveled in.
Right. Yeah.
The type of suit you wear when you get to your destination, You don't travel in it because yes, if you're on a 7, 8, 9, 10 hour
Yeah.
flight, the wrinkles and crinkles are going to be there.
And they're not going away in
They're not
linen.
going away.
No.
Yeah. So it's really understanding the fabrication
Mm-hmm.
of garments, fit. I subscribe by four things: form, fit, fabric, and function.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Good. Yeah.
So the form of a garment, the shape of it, the
Mm-hmm.
fit, having it tailored. Make sure your garments are tailored. You buy a suit, make sure the sleeve length is correct. Make
Yeah.
sure the suppression on the waist is good. Make sure the pants around the waist fit. Make sure the length of the pants is the correct length
Mm-hmm.
for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's fit. Fabric, make sure you've got the right fabric for the climate, for the setting that you're in too, and also for functionality of the purpose for it too.
Mm-hmm.
And then form, fit, fabric, and function. Where are you going? You wouldn't wear a velvet suit during the day to work, but you may wear it in the evening to an evening
Yeah.
event,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Please
So
don't wear the velvet suit to work.
yeah, and then again, you may like and enjoy luxury fabrics like cashmere and silks. Well,
Yeah.
unfortunately, they're not very durable fabrics. So yes, you can wear them once or twice during the week, but you can't wear it every day.
Right. Yes.
Right.
Indeed. Yeah.
So it's understanding those types of things, and unfortunately, a lot of men don't understand that because they're not really trained in that, and nor is it a forethought of theirs. It's
That's
just I
true.
go shopping, I see this, and I like it. I put it
Right.
on. The salesperson is happy to sell it to you, and off you go. And then you're not happy with it. It doesn't perform how you expected it to perform.
Mm-hmm.
So it sits in the wardrobe. You never go there again.
And you mentioned tailoring, and I'm really big on tailoring. Tailoring, anyone that knows me, tailoring and a good steamer. But I'm
Yes,
really, yeah, those are two very important things that we
I
need in
like
your,
that. Good
yeah,
steamer.
the
Yes,
steamer.
perfect. Yeah.
But tailoring,
Mm.
it can change the whole look of a suit. But again, you did say that you have to make sure that it, you're keeping the integrity of the garment in the tailoring. So you can't go and buy a suit that's 4 times too big and expect to get it tailored and it look the same.
Yeah.
You have to be
One
intentional.
size. Yeah. One side, I would say, if you're, say, a 42 and there's only 42s, only 44s there, then maybe try it on. If you're getting most of the points across the shoulder,
Mm-hmm.
this across the shoulder and chest is the hardest amount of work. And that can really alter a garment. There's very few tailors that can probably do it really, really well. So
Yeah.
that's an alteration that I would probably not engage in.
Okay.
The waist is fine. So
Mm-hmm.
if it's a little tight in the waist, so if it's good across the chest and a little snug in the waist, then depending on the type of suit, there could be allowances to let it out.
Okay.
Or if you need to take it in, that's fine as well. So waist suppression is okay. You can also move the buttons just slightly across, the front.
Mm-hmm.
That will help in terms of actually making the garments a little bit more form-fitting,
Sure.
comfortable. But aside from that, if it's anything more than that, leave it on the rack and go somewhere else and look for something else. But it's not going to be it's not going to be worth the alteration.
Right. Yeah, that's good. Earl, this has been great. This has been really good. Again, like I said, I used to work in the men's department years ago, but do not have the information and the expertise as I don't work with men anymore. Well, I do. On occasion, they do filter in, but my main clients are women. But I do thank you for all of your knowledge and information that you have given us today. Is there any man in the audience that might have a question for Earl? We have a couple of minutes left. Then you can put those questions in the comments, and we'll put them up. In the meanwhile, if you could leave the listeners with one thing, Earl, that they can take away today and implement in their wardrobe, what would that be?
I would say, in order to make your wardrobe better,
Mm-hmm.
I would say go through your wardrobe and filter out and edit everything that isn't serving you.
Yeah.
Things that no longer fit, things that you no longer particularly like, and those things that you're hoping to wear one day, get rid of them. Edit out, get a clear understanding of what actually is in there, what actually fits, and then you can begin to build on those things.
Absolutely.
When you have a lot of mess and a lot of chaos, it's hard to find a road to the items that you truly love and like.
Yeah, that's good. Good advice. So again, thank you for having me. Again, Earl is an executive style consultant, and he can be reached at earlrichstyle.com. That's his website. His LinkedIn is simply Earl Rich. So you can find him on LinkedIn, and on IG it's going to be Earl Rich _style. Look him up, get in touch with him, help him, let him help you to become and move and become the best version of yourself, I guess I could say. And also just to help you to get the wardrobe that's going to benefit you and help you be more productive in life and help you to accomplish those opportunities that you are wanting to accomplish, whether that's in your job as an entrepreneur. And believe it or not, when you work on those areas and work on your wardrobe and your style in those areas, naturally is going to transition into your personal life. So if you're dating, you'll know what to wear then. So get in touch with Earl. And for me, if you want to learn more about me, you can find me at visit my website, peoplepowerconsultancy.com. I'm on LinkedIn as Jenny Dewberry. I'm on IG as Jenny D _peoplepower. And then if you are watching on YouTube, please subscribe to YouTube and check us out every week here on these live streams as well as YouTube. And for anyone that is interested, I do have a guide. It's called Why Image Matters and Why You Should Care. It is a guide to help you to do the very things that we've talked about today, how to get a wardrobe or create a wardrobe that is going to serve you in the right way, take away overwhelm in your mornings of getting dressed and such. I do have a bonus section in here for men, but this book would be something good for you to get. So you can find that on my website, peoplepowerconsultancy.com. If you want to donate to the show so that we can keep this going for years to come, there's a QR code there that you can scan to donate to the Image Connection show. So until next time, we will see you here on the Image Connection show. Thank you, Earl.
Thank you, Jenny.
Thanks for tuning in to the Image Connection show. We truly appreciate you being here. We hope you'll join us again. And don't keep it to yourself. Invite a friend to tune in too. If you're ready for more insightful tips, tools, and strategies to help you enhance your image, brand, and help you on your entrepreneurial journey, this is where you want to be. Until next time, keep showing up with purpose, presence, and power. I'll see you next Wednesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Take care.